Thank you, Angel, and Heidi. Ho, everyone. Welcome aboard. It is good to have your company on this hump day, and happy hump day to you and you and you and you and me. Hope you're having a good one so far. I'm having an okay day. Why not? Got a little red microphone here. I'm assuming you guys can hear me. Otherwise, I would have had a message in the chat box. So I'll continue. Shall I? Yes, I shall. Righto, so I'm going to go to pound US first up. And we have two orders in the market now, or two trades in the market now, because yesterday the market presented us with this very, very nice bull bar and took us into profit on the second order entry for which was there, and the first order entry for which was there. And I have now moved my stops to entry on the first order, meaning, of course, that can only be a winner. The second one, which we entered yesterday on breakouts, is still at risk, of course. Sorry, I do get distracted when things come across my other screen. So I'm not going to do anything today except watch what happens. We are in pre-Fed mode, of course, and that can mean a few different things, but generally does mean that the market will be quiet prior to that announcement. We shall see if the market wants to respond to that big breakout bar there yesterday. Not sure what caused it, and I miss Ash because I really get up to date with what's going on in terms of news events, but I'm not across them, of course. Hi, Ram. How are you doing? G'day, Lewis, and hello, everybody else. G'day, Paul P. Happy Monday. What's up, mate? You did you have a long sleep? It's Wednesday, Paul. It's Wednesday, mate. But I'm sure you're aware of that. All right, now, so am I trading the breakout? No, I'm not trading the breakout today. We've had two in a row. I think it's just a little bit too much to ask for a third under the circumstances, given that it is Fed announcement overnight for most of us. So what we've got, money day. Perfect, Lewis, perfect. For most of us, yes, overnight. Now, that generally gets me into a good frame of mind because I like to trade not so much the news itself, but the result of the news on the Fed statement, of course. And we normally do that on Euro US dollar, but I'm liking what I'm seeing on Euro US dollar at the moment. This is a pretty darn good looking fake out, is it not? It's already telling us that fake out of the rectangle or the box range, if you like. And it really does look to me like we have 2/3 or 3/4, whichever way you want to look at it, of a trade set up here. Of course, we are already short the euro versus the pound, and we were treated with a TP1 on that overnight as well. I hope you managed to get into that one. That was our trade of the week, I believe, from Monday, euro pound. Let's have a look at that to see how it's going. Yeah, just if you haven't taken profit on that, that was the take profit line, 85.10 or 85.09. I can't remember exactly which one. And you should now have your stop loss at whatever that level is. Can't remember. 85.36. That's where the stops are at the moment. They're in a pretty good spot. Even if we do get a retracement today, it shouldn't go beyond that level. If it's a retracement, of course. If it's a reversal, it will. But this one's looking okay at the moment. Euro pound. That would mean that the euro is, as we've just seen, under a little bit of pressure, and I'll be keeping a very close eye on the euro versus the dollar, because that's looking very much like a potential false break to me. The only problem with that, of course, is that we are going into pre-Fed mode, and the market does tend to go quiet in that period It doesn't look like that at the moment, I've got to say. But the worst part about that is if it goes quiet and you've just entered the market, it really does give you the SH1Ts. And it is very, very difficult to achieve a TP1 at that time. We'll see. If this bar is a nice, I'll call it a volatile bar or energy fill bar, then I will look to trade that underneath it. We shall see. That is euro versus the dollar, but it looks quite good to me. Now, I did place another order this afternoon when I was watching the Olympics. I also had a peek at the chart, and I saw this, which is Aussie CAD. Now, Aussie news today, we might share that. I'm not sure you've all had a look at it, but we'll share that with you. I'll just change screens. Oh, I love it when the control panel goes missing. There it is. And have a look at the Forex factory. We had consumer confidence in the States overnight, but the main news from my point of view were the CPI figures, quarterly CPI figures that came out in Australia this morning for me. And we did have a rise. It was anticipated that we would have an increase in the CPI number. Now, that may be short-lived. It may be very short-lived because of the COVID situation in Sydney town in particular. It's not nice up there, as I'm sure Ainsley will confirm when she comes into the room and talks about gold and oil. But not looking good in Sydney. It really has broken out there. But the big news, of course, and we do have monthly CPI figures coming out on the Canadian dollar later in the day, but overnight, 4 o'clock my time, this is my time, Australian time, as you can see, this is the big one for the week, the FOMC statement, and of course the press conference that follows 30 minutes thereafter. That makes it very, very difficult for me to trade, but I'll go through the breakout before we close today. For those of you who haven't seen it before, will I trade it is the question. And generally, what I do is go to the 4-hour chart and have a look at Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday's range, which really isn't. It's more of a trend, isn't it? Which is a bit of a shame. We've got there it is. The range is 79 pips. That's not too bad, to be fair, but I'm just not too keen on the shape of it, nor where the daily pivot is. We'll come back and have a look at that a little bit later anyway. So that's pretty much the news as it stands and what we'll be looking for throughout the day. I think Lloyd's joining us again as well. I'm not sure how his two trades. He's got pound Aussie. I think that's still going well. And Aussie Swissy, I haven't checked those because I'm trading myself, but I'm sure he'll give us a good look at those when he comes in. And also, if he's got some other setups to share with us. Now, I started there, didn't I? Aussie CAD. Let me go back there, right. And give you the reasoning for my, I won't even call it optimism. I'll call it analysis. Now, as you know, I love to trade ranges, and this is a clear range to me. We've come off the bottom, we've gone to the top, we've gone to the bottom, we've gone to the top. False break, possible false break to the downside, and we do have a higher low here as well, coming back into the range. Looking for maybe another higher low, but certainly a setup that we can trade. And this, to my mind, is not the best slingshot setup that I've ever seen. I'd really like to get rid of those two candles to make it really good. But this little approach of the trade line and pull back away from it is something that I do like to trade. There's a bit of a shot over the bow there with a 3-candle slingshot setup, but this one looks pretty decent to me. The stop loss is the concern here, and the reason it's concern is because the lower this goes, the more likely it is that price, should it rebound off something, will go back to that level. And of course, that's what we don't want to happen. So I'm keeping my eye on that. And if perchance we get a higher low in this vicinity, maybe something that looks like that, then I would look to trade that rather than the setup that we've got now. So that would be an absolute ideal candle to trade if we get the opportunity to trade one, let's say in this vicinity here, that gives us another higher low. Not a pretty chart apart from that, I've got to say. The weekly was very interesting last week. Did we try and trade this last week? I can't recall. But it's pretty clear that that range is set in, if you like, or established, well established. And for that reason, I do like to trade back to the top, and that looks to be an opportunity that we've got at the moment. I might consider, if this candle doesn't close any lower, or moving that stop so it is actually underneath that bar. We shall see. That is Aussie CAD. What else have we got on the radar? We had orders. Didn't place any orders yesterday, did we? No, but we're looking at Aussie CAD yesterday, weren't we? Why? Because it would have been a key reversal bar, right? Yes. No, the day before. Yes, therefore we're looking at it yesterday. And really it did trigger. It was the only one that did trigger. There were 10 of the key reversal bars yesterday. Only that trigger, sorry, there was another one, dollar Sing. There's pound Aussie there. Still going strong. John, you must be worrying the banks at the moment as that continues its way forward. Certainly Lloyd, I don't know where Lloyd's take profit level. Maybe that's it there. I don't know why that's on the chart. That's a thing, isn't it? It's to do with this bloody thing where they cross over. And that's daily wave rider, I'm sure. But I've worked out a way to get rid of that. But it only is temporary. You guys told me I could click on it. But I can't click on it. I right click, I double click, I do all these things. Yet I still can't move it for whatever reason. So if anybody's got a little hint on how I can actually get rid of that, like permanently, rather than have to do this little fudging thing, I'd be much appreciative. Okay, so I'll let Lloyd take you through pound Aussie. Why did I go here? Because I was looking for dollar Sing, wasn't I? Because it was the only other reversal bar, as I recall, the day before. Yes. Okay. So this is interesting. Let me go through this with you. Low test bar, high test bar, which is a key reversal bar on both occasions. So key reversal because the low is lower, closed on or near its high. The high, it's higher, closed on its low. And you would have been taken into that had you traded that. We didn't trade, as you'll recall, because we're trading straight into a support level. But you would have survived and now being in that dreadful place called drawdown land. And it's very, very interesting because when I get a key reversal bar followed by an inside bar, I want to trade that. And I am still of the opinion that we're trading straight into a support level. But what I'm taking on board is that signal is strong for me that we are going to go to the downside. Therefore, if I can find an entry up here that I can take into profit and get profit in the bank before I hit that level, yay, that's what I want to do. So let's see if that's going to be even possible. I like the scenario here. It's going to do one of two things, in my opinion. I hate it when I say that because, yeah, duh. There's a third thing. Okay, I get it. But I just see it when commentators say one of two things is going to happen here. Of course, one of two things is going to happen here. But my read on this, or the way that I can trade this, is as a false break. Right now, I've got a resistance trade line All I need to see is price get above here, reject the weekly pivot for a third time, or maybe fourth or fifth time, come underneath it, close beneath the daily pivot, then retest the confluence. Either three of them or all three of them would be absolutely superb. And then we can enter the market here, let's say here, and get some money in the bank before we hit that low. Looks like it may go into range here. And of course, we are in pre-Fed mode, as I said. But this being the 4-hour chart, we're a long way from an entry. But again, we could sneak down to a smaller time frame where we've got pretty much the same thing. In fact, we've got many more touches over here. So do I want to play a long? No. So I'd have to trade that bar there. Maybe put my stops there. 13 to 6. It's actually not that bad. Wow. Where's the high of the day? That's the high of the day, which is a new high. I'm actually inclined to play that, guys. What's the cross? Dollar Sing. Dollar. Really? What's the dollar index doing? It's right underneath my trade line and now retesting it. That could be a false break of resistance. Okay. That means that I don't want to trade the dollar long under any circumstances. So no, the answer is no. I'll wait for the false break and then go short. Righto, that's that covered, because really there were only those two this morning that were potentials, or that had triggered overnight. And at the moment, I do like the downside for dollar Sing, and I am looking very, very closely at the Aussie as well, the Aussie CAD. In fact, we do have an order on it, as I said. Don't like the fact that this is getting away from us, though. And not that I mind the price going in the opposite direction, but I don't like it when I have to chase the stop loss down. Don't like it. Maybe we get a better entry, guys. As I said, we shall see. All right, that's pretty much me. I don't have too much more on the radar that I'm looking at. Dollar Swissy and Euro Aussie from yesterday. Did we have a look at those? Euro Aussie from yesterday. Yes, we did. We spoke about that, or did we? Key reversal bar there the day before. Not a key reversal bar today. I didn't speak about this. And the reason it's not a key reversal bar is it's closed nowhere near its low. But that's still under notice. And like I said on whatever pair I was just talking about, I'll be looking to trade this as a false break of resistance. And there's probably two opportunities to do that. I've still got the double top. What I do now have, however, is a higher high based on this one, higher low, higher high. So that's suggesting that we may go back to trend. It's not definitive, of course, but if I get a false break here or a false break here, this one better, then I can look to join what I thought was a reasonable opportunity to go short in the first place. Of course, this has been trending along for some time and may well go back to trend. That's entirely possible. And that's where we need to just be careful and make sure we've got the right signal to go short rather than just willy-nilly say yes. That's Euro Aussie. The other one was Kiwi Swissy. And what we're trying, we set an order on that. Was it Monday? Probably Monday. Both expired. We were buying at 64.31. That would have been on the daily chart. And yeah, would have been buying that bar there, right? So have we changed our minds? No, we haven't changed our minds in terms of a direction. And that's because we are at the bottom of a range, or we've just come off the bottom of a range. We've got a double bottom in play. We're looking for a higher low, and we're probably looking to come back inside that range as well. So higher low here, does it get me interested? 4-hour chart, it's kind of there, isn't it? Trading that, how do I do that? Well, I've got a support trade line through here. So under, back, above, go. Break and retest of resistance. That's a nice little area there, isn't it? Let me go a little bit tighter. Okay, that looks interesting. So if this does continue to stay underneath this trade line and closes under there, what am I on, 30-minute chart? So I've got 15 minutes for that to develop. Then we need another hour underneath this trade line, then back above it, maybe even take out the daily pivot and come back and retest the trade line. Then we could go. But I also see a double cross on the daily pivot right now, which also means looks like a false break too, doesn't it? That's a bit of a mess, I've got to say. Leave me with that. I just want to see price develop a little bit further than it is. But like Aussie CAD, I'm tempted to place an order above here. It is the high of the day, but it's a new high, so I'm okay with that. Yeah, it's interesting. Gee, I've got too much to look at. I better bring Lloyd in, I think, so he can calm things down a bit. I'm getting a little bit too involved here with this 30-minute chart or these 30-minute charts. G'day, buddy. How you doing?
Hi, Jeff. Hey, just now I was saying that you want to get rid of a vertical line on your chart.
The what? Sorry.
You say you wanted to get rid of a vertical line object on your chart.
Yes, absolutely.
Did you say that?
This one.
Yeah, that line actually comes from the market scanner. So if you want, but you're not, you can use the plus minus at the bottom to actually shift the vertical line if you want.
Yeah, I got that part.
Yeah, but
if
you don't even want the option, you can actually go. Yeah, but if you don't even want that, you want it to totally disappear, then you can go to the options in the market scanner. I can show you how.
Options in the market scanner. Okay, show me how. That'd be wonderful.
I'll show you the screen, so you should be looking at my screen now.
Yep.
So you can actually go to the upper right hand corner over here, and then just go all the way below. You should see the shift line color. Yeah, just change that to none, and then the vertical line will actually disappear.
Shift line color. Okay. Inputs. No.
Let's see. I don't know whether you can look at the yeah, it's under
shift
the
line color.
The
I got it.
So scroll all the yeah. So change it to none.
You're a legend, mate. Done. You realize how much that saves my anguish every morning? Because I think the market scanner is a wonderful tool to have. There's no question. For me, I use it only to scan things with the 29 symbols that are on there. I don't actually use the defaults, but I think it is making me lazy. There's no question about that. But I like that. That's a good thing. And having that line exactly where it is. Tell me what it's for. It's just a pain in the BUT or BUM, whatever you want to call it. Tell me why it's there. What's its function?
Oh, the vertical line is just is for people who uses any of the strategy. I think it's for either wave rider flow, just to let them know that which bar they are actually which bar the market scanner is taking its scanning parameters from.
Oh, okay. So little arrows.
Yeah, it's just telling them shift 1 or shift 2 or shift 3.
Just a tiny little arrows wouldn't be too much to ask. I'll keep it on my list for Peter when I next talk to him, which I'm not sure when that will be. I do. You're right, Lewis. You're absolutely right. So, mate, Aussie, Swiss, and Pound Aussie. Similar trades, of course, both with the Aussie in it. We've had Aussie news today, which was positive, but then it was expected to be positive. and maybe a false read on what's actually going on in the economy. It was a quarterly figure, of course, and it's not going to take into consideration the current hiccup that we've got, particularly in Sydney town with COVID. So I think the market's probably weighing that up versus, the news up versus that COVID situation. And really, the Aussie's not doing too much. It has kind of held it up, though, there, has it not?
Yeah, I mean, for the Aussie Swiss, I mean, I'm not too worried about this at the moment, but for anybody who's in this trade, I think it'll be fair to say if you want to get a TP1 of the horizontal level here, I mean, it's completely fine. I mean, since it's a previous low, yeah, but I mean, since it's going healthy now for me, I'm not going to do anything about it. But what caught me by surprise was power odd. Yeah. Actually, any idea what causes this shoot? Was it due to the Aussie news?
No, that happened. I think in US session, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, it did. Probably even near the open of US session. That is for mine, what candle? It's the 1700 candle, which means it's what? I don't know what time that means in my time anymore. But yeah, that happened in US session, so I don't know why.
But for whichever reason it happened, I mean, I will get to have some money in my pocket.
Well, you should shout the bloke at the beer who pressed the wrong button, mate. Absolutely.
So when we meet, when is it next year March?
You say you're through target. Sorry, you're out of that. You're through target. You're out of that trade now.
Yeah. Before the show starts, it was still lingering over here. I had just taken profit, like I think 10 minutes back. Yeah. So it was a proper 3:1. Yeah. So yeah, there we have it. One winner for the week. Then yesterday I was talking actually about the euro dollar. So euro dollar at this moment price is still, I mean, it already went off. So we'll see about that. But for euro dollar, I think it would be wise to actually take TP1 of this level for the time being. Yeah, because I mean, even for the European, the euro index, there's a short-term horizontal level here, so just take some profit off. I think that would be nice. Yeah. Otherwise, for those who are aggressive enough, you can feel free to trade it back all the way to 120. That will really be a big winner. Yeah. So it depends on how aggressive any of the trader is. But today we can actually look at
it will depend very much also on what Mr. Powell has to say a little bit later in the day, one would think.
I don't know. I mean, now probably there might be some volatility ahead, I suspect, because there's the US and China trade talk going on behind, right? They already exchanged some bucks, as I understand. Okay.
Is that today?
I think it's been ongoing since the start of the week.
Okay.
Trade talks. Yeah.
So we're back in that little pocket of the world, are we? Are we talking more wars, trade wars, or are they not saying anything yet? Is there nothing been released?
Interesting enough, for this time around the trade talks, even before the talk has properly started, China actually has released a list of demands that they want from US, which they actually have not done so before. So yeah, there might be some. It'll be interesting to watch how they actually carry out. Because previously, in the previous trade talk, China actually didn't release any sort of demands before the meeting commenced. But this time now, they had a change of tack. They actually released a list of demands before the talk started.
Okay, gotcha. So anything else that we need to look forward to today that we're not already in?
Yeah, actually, top of my list, we have looking at the DXY index, having a look at the weekly charts, it seems that price is properly bouncing off the horizontal level at the moment. You can see, so it might be in a range. So it'll be another sort of a same kind of trade that we have with the Euro index. So we are going for DXY short. Yeah. So if you look at what I deem is might be strengthening this week, Swiss actually came up off the top of my list. Yeah, so it do not have a lot of leeway to go to 110, but still I think it might strengthen all the way to 110. So as such, we can actually go for a dollar Swiss short. So do I need to go through that bit? DXY weakening from the short-term horizontal level, and then we have the SXY, which is the Swiss index, possible strengthening to 110. Then naturally we have a trade at dollar Swiss, which is a dollar Swiss short on the 4-hour time frame. This is what we have. Yeah, so you can see that price at the close of the bar, if it remains as a high test bar, then this would be a very nice trade that we can actually trade all the way back down. Yeah, so this is one possible trade setup. Yeah, again, trading off a previous support turn resistance, and this will be a bread and butter kind of setup that we have. If at I think at 5 p.m. Yeah, if this price action remains true, then we do have a trade setup that we can actually go for shorts. Yeah. So then again, pound is still strong. So what we can do is also we can trade pound dollar long. Now for that to happen, unfortunately, we have to practice a bit of patience. I will still be waiting for price to actually break this level. So once price does that, I mean the same kind of motion, and then we can go for a long. This looks like a wrong color that I painted on. Yeah, so will still be the same play, same kind of trading pattern that I've always done all this while. Yeah, so yeah, that's the two trade that we have so for today that may be setting up. Pound dollar may actually not be setting up today, might be tomorrow, so we shall see how it goes.
Yeah, again, I think if you're talking US dollar, we're probably waiting, I think, now for the Fed statement, which will happen, of course, at 4 a.m. my time. Maybe not. You know, there might be an opinion in the market that suggests that Powell's going to say X or Y, and they may even get into the market early. Maybe they've already done that in the last 2 days with the pound. Who knows? Euro, I'm not of the same opinion that the euro at the moment. I said yesterday that I think the directional bias, Lewis and I were talking about it, directional bias long was good, but wrong time to get into it. Didn't quite make the bottom of my range, so it didn't set up as a buy, and now it's setting up as a, well, it could go either way. We've gone through the top of my little rectangular range, and maybe it's going to bounce off there. But if it closes underneath today's daily pivot, the next or the current 4-hour bar, I think I'll be looking for a short as a bounce off the next bull bar. We shall see. But yeah, again, I'm not that keen to get into anything versus the dollar until we see the Fed and what the Fed have to say. So that's about you, mate, for now.
Yeah, that's about what I have for today. I mean, each day only 1 or 2 trade setups, very simple setups. Yeah, that is more than enough to get me by. Yeah, but I think someone mentioned that there was a pound dollar strong resistance. Yeah, there will be some resistance around this area. That's why in lieu of the resistance, always just wait for break and retest setup. Yeah, don't be too keen to trade the actual break setup.
Yeah, same. Do you as a, and it looks like you do from what I've been watching you do in the last couple of days, do you only trade retests of horizontal levels, or do you have more setups that you actually trade?
Breaks, but I do trade breaks itself. I mean, retest will be the bread and butter way of my preferred way of trading, but I do trade the actual break itself. Not often. So I can give you an example of how I trade breaks. That wouldn't be hard.
Mm-hmm.
So this will actually form a proper horizontal level that you can see that price is bouncing off in the past. So the way I trade breaks is that, so this will be a proper break bar for me to trade. Yeah, as long as it's a full body break at more than half of the bar closes below the horizontal level, I do trade the breaks itself.
Dominator.
Sorry?
I said that's my dominator trade, right?
Sounds very familiar, right? Did I just steal your idea?
Good. I like it. There's nothing wrong with it. And that, that didn't actually come from me. I developed that with, can't remember the guy's name. We went into a test group with slingshots. This is a few years ago now, and it turned out that we're missing a lot of those follow throughs, exactly like you've got there after that big bar. We were missing those because there was no retest and no lower high, so to speak of, or to speak of. So we couldn't get into the trade. And we did pick up through that research that a great percentage of those massive, what I call dominator bars or dominant bars that break trade lines, and you're using this horizontal level, same thing. At the end of the day, whatever floats your boat. And they were very, very, very productive. And oftentimes we would miss those moves because we couldn't trade that bar, and certainly we weren't getting pullback. So I like it.
I mean, I don't dare to say that it's a unique way of trading. I mean, you must have picked it off somewhere. So it could be Dominator when you do the when you first debuted Dominator, I think 3 years back. I believe one of the student who tested with you was Ken. Yeah. So I might have picked it off somewhere and then I just incorporated it.
Oh,
then again,
Ken, as in
fully,
Ken and
yeah, Ken and Pauline.
and who?
Yeah.
You've forgotten.
I mean, his wife was Pauline.
Pauline, that's right. Yeah, got it.
Yeah. So yeah, maybe possibly coming from your ideas. So Jeff, you're fully entitled to sue me for copyright infringement. I'll buy you a bucket of beer when we meet.
Oh, a bucket, beautiful. Sounds good. All right, mate, we'll leave it there for now because we've got Ainsley in the room, and I'm sure she's bursting out of her skin and trying to burst out of her apartment. That would be for sure. And waiting for gold to burst out of its consolidation. You must be bursting at the seams, eh? How you doing?
Yeah. Look, climbing the walls is probably a really good way to put it. So our lockdown just got extended for another 4 weeks.
Yeah. I was saying that earlier this morning. That was the strong whisper around yesterday, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, but yeah, they announced it this morning, and to be on the safe side, it looks like homeschooling until term 4.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. You need counselling yet?
I'm running a lot. I've just been for a run. I found that if I run, then the endorphins get a buzz. I'm feeling a lot better. But,
yeah, well, there's the thing. Yep.
Well, it could be worse. It could be a lot worse. So, it's just brutal, this Delta variant, and it's just so many people getting sick. And we've got a teenager in the ICU on a ventilator up here at the moment. So it's not discriminating. It's just ripping through the place. And I think for me, the hardest thing is every morning listening to the numbers come out at 11 o'clock. But then you listen, so they break it down into the number of infectious in a 24 period, the number of infectious and out and about in the community, like they're sick and they're out and spreading the joy when we've got lockdown orders. And then they go through the ones into ICU and hospital and all the rest of it. But the ones that are still out there in the jolly running around, there was a lady who was infectious, and in 5 days she went to 25 shops. I don't know 25 shops that are actually open. So that kind of thing where they actually are spreading it and making the situation worse is infuriating. And the fact that the Aussie dollar, with the announcements of more help from the government, and an increase in the help, I think is tempered a lot by it's been reporting season for Rio, BHP, and a lot of the miners, and gee, they've done incredibly well. So that on the offset has really buoyed the Australian dollar in the last couple of days. So that's why we haven't seen lockdown, major city, and the Aussie dollar tank. So we've been really well buoyed by what's happening in the commodities market and the reporting of these major miners. So major miners, not mine ors, miners.
Can we rely on that to take us through this latest news that you had this morning regards COVID?
I think it is.
Can the commodity market hold up? Yeah.
Well, look at the charts. I mean, to say that we're going to be locked down and to say that we're going to lose an estimated 300,000 people are going to lose their jobs in the next couple of weeks, because a lot of the businesses were just getting on their feet again, and this has just come along and just knocked the sales out, and it's really just taken a lot of people to the wall. So you've offset the grimness and the darkness about all of that happening, and that it's not just another 2 weeks, it's another 4 weeks. That's quite a while. Let me tell you, in school terms, that's a long time. It's a really long time. But when you look at the Aussie dollar, no, it hasn't gone screaming down to 60 cents or anything like that. It's just sort of hovered around that 73.60 mark all day. So it's not anything to get too excited about. I think it's done really, really well considering what it is. Oh, it's just dropping off now. Just now as it's just started to peter down. But yeah, I think you will find since Monday there's been a bit of a surge and then it comes back and a bit of a surge. And I would say that it's definitely offset with what we saw in reporting from and their outlook as well. So it's not just the reporting of how well they've done, it's the outlook for a lot of these big commodity companies that are saying, well, they're projecting that things are going to come back online and that things are going to be pretty good. So,
quite intriguing. And then, of course, we've got those 3 letters later today or 4 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah.
You'll be up, no doubt.
I watch that. I always tend to because, I just... I look at this chart and I can't help think of you, can I? I mean, seriously. Look at this. Look at that level of support.
Yeah, heaven on a stick, isn't it?
It started, I think, and we joke about, gold loves levels, but even this is ridiculous. And I'm just sitting here going, oh my lordy, lordy, lordy. So we've got weekly pivot, we've got the 200 simple moving average, we have got the 50 EMA, we've got the 100 EMA. So, it's quite the party there. Everybody's there. Everything's happening. So yes, I'll definitely be waiting for something because it's just, and I'm not renowned for my patience. However, look at that. I can't beat that, can I? So it's just craziness. And I can't do anything about it. I've just got to sit and be patient. Seasonally, it's meant to be going up. Inflation, there is inflation. It should be going up. It should be the hedge trade. The US dollar has been up and down and it's gone sideways. We've got bond yields at their lowest that they've been in forever. And this is meant to be a hedge against low bond yields. You're meant to see gold go up seasonally, and the COP report. Everything that is on the list that you go check, 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 check. Nothing has actually budged gold. Again, I feel like somebody has actually gone in and deleted XAU USD symbol off everybody's trading chart, off their trading platform.
So that's the theory you've got as to why it's not moving.
That's why it's eliminated. Nobody can actually click it on.
Okay.
So, but that's it. I mean, you look at, technically your side is just sitting there. It hasn't broken that level of support. It's not going any further south, but it won't crack and stay above the 200. It won't crack and stay above the weekly pivot. It hasn't got onto the monthly pivot. It's just gone sideways. Like I said, I've got my fundamental bias that I normally go, how's that looking, and run through that whole list that I've just given you. And they're all there. And it ain't coming to the party. Lights on, nobody's home. So unfortunately with gold, we have to sit and wait because it won't move unless it's ready to move.
You're not likely to get a cheap price, I don't believe, when it starts to go, however, because I think because of what you've just mentioned, where everything is having their little party, you can throw a hanky over everything that's resistance and support. That tells me that the next move, no matter whether it's short or long, will be substantial.
It'll go.
And fast.
Yeah, and you'll either turn around and blink, it'll either be back down here at 1760, or it'll be on its way, you know, or walk 1,000 miles, you know, and be straight up to R1 before we blink on the daily. So that's where that is at the moment. I haven't got anything exciting. I look at that, and as I say, I look at my gold chart and I think of you, Jeffy.
Thank you. That's really sweet.
It's going sideways. It's a range. So I'm going to do a new share. I'll just pop over to oil and look at this.
Before you do, a couple of questions for you. Can you see the chat box?
Chat box. Where's it gone? Oh, right. Where'd it go? Oh, there it is, Poppy. How would the Sydney lockdown affect gold? AUD. Depends on how, obviously, Aussie dollar. Lewis, I do trade gold short. It's just that at this time of the year, I shouldn't be trading gold short. I should be trading gold long. It's a seasonal bias. Paul P, going back, it will depend on how the Aussie dollar goes, obviously. Lockdown, as what we've just said, lockdown for Sydney seems to not have completely dominated the Aussie dollar's movement. And the Aussie dollar has seemed to be, as I said, against the back of all the big companies, big mining companies that have reported this week, has held its own. It's been quite tempered, actually.
As you say, it has just started to move, and maybe the reason for that is London traders would only just be learning that news, I believe.
Yeah, possibly. But we'll see how that goes, because, you know, BHP and Rio are pretty much up there as far as company size goes.
Yeah, they're not small. That's true.
They're not minnows. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. But yeah, like I said, there's been a lot of information that has trickled through today. Like they expect 300,000 people to lose their job, but the government will go into more debt to throw more money at people because the lockdown's been extended, and all this kind of stuff that keeps coming out. And it's on a day-by-day basis as well. It's not, you know, they're trying to work out what to do. There is no playbook, you know. So we've just got to go with what we've got at the moment.
Actually, there is an actual ton of stuff on the Aussie, isn't there? Because we had quarterly CPIs today. We've got the Fed overnight. We've got the COVID situation in Sydney. We've got those reports coming out on the two big ones. Yeah, there's a whole lot going on. Maybe the market's going to take a while to sort through that.
Yeah. But I tell you what has had a move, and I thought it would take it with us. Now, if I swap this chart over, tell me if I am showing you a copper chart. Can you see that, or do I have to do a new share?
No, I can see it. Yep.
Right. So Monday, we had a big breakout, and we've consolidated now, but definitely after consolidating for weeks, probably the best part of a month, we had a lovely consolidation there. And then we took it off, came up and hit R1. And we're just having a little bit of a breather here on copper. But copper on Monday, as we thought it would, took off and off she went. I thought gold might have taken it with her along, like, you know, besties, but it didn't. So copper's back on the move, which is really interesting. But copper's fundamental story has a lot going with it at the moment. And one of the biggest one of the biggest issues at the moment for copper is the United States of America, their electricity grid is a diabolical mess. And the copper required to upgrade the electricity grid for the US, because they're actually asking cities to turn off their air conditioner and their electricity or whatever for an hour a day, because some of the cities aren't actually able to cope with the electricity that they need, because the power stations just can't, they all need maintenance and they haven't been doing that. So instead of doing the maintenance, they've been giving people lots and lots of money. So that's what's happened there, but that has obviously coming to the fore. China are a big buyer of copper as well. They didn't like the price, and that's where we saw copper get thrown out the window with the baby in the bathwater. And that's what caused that. China were flooded the market and manipulated the market down through here big time. But basically, we went sideways for a long time, but you can see the copper story as everything's going green. You need copper in batteries, you need copper in a whole heap of other things like electricity upgrades and power plants and stuff like that. So that demand for copper is not going away. It's just not going away. And I think as long as they had been able to hold it for as much as they could, it's now taken off again. Why that hasn't taken gold with it, I can't tell you. Look like gold is in that once every 5 or 6 years that do not rally in July. Yeah, it's every now and again. And it's just a seasonal bias, Lewis, as to why gold should rally. But I use it as I said, I've got a checklist of everything that I'm looking at. It's just a bias. It's not an entry. And that's the thing with seasonals. If it goes with you, it's great. If it doesn't, well, that's just the way it is. And sometimes it doesn't trade exactly the way it is. All I can say is a better trade at Christmas time. I'll be looking for, it's very traditional for it to trade at Christmas time. Everything's shiny and gold at the end of Christmas time. So if it doesn't do it now, then hopefully later. But so that's the copper story at the moment. We're going to, obviously copper is traded against the US dollar, and we're just going to have to wait to see what happens with the Fed. A bit like,
is that an all-time high there, eh?
No, the all-time high was over here. It hit
no, that's the one I meant.
Yeah, so over here,
Yep.
But it's just interesting. It's very interesting. It had a really good strong run up, and then it was just one of those things. And down she came and consolidated for a couple of months after being manhandled, and then bang. And you can only do that for so long, right? So there we go. But the next one, my little friend, we talked about on Sunday. I said to you, oh look, we've come up and we've hit the 200 simple moving average on the 4-hourly chart, and we're probably going to toggle around there. We've got the pivot. Well, it's Wednesday. I didn't think we'd be doing that all week. I thought we'd have a bit more of a move by now, but no. The good thing is that the whole way through the week though is we have held opens and closes above the monthly pivot. So I think we're just going to choke on here for a little bit until we have a bit more clarity. But they seem to have sorted themselves out. There was a lot of dissent down here when they decided, I can't believe they did this, at the beginning of last week, when they actually decided that they would lift their restrictions for supply beyond what they had agreed to. And it's just like, it just went, bit of deja vu there, guys. But it's come up and everything, you can see everything's sort of settled now. Everything's very happy. Everything's very calm. And all we're doing is toggling between it's a pretty tight range for oil, obviously. And we haven't gone past the 200 simple moving average here on the 4-hourly. It's like, oh God. I mean, I know I like trading things at like levels, but even this is getting a tad boring.
Yeah, you might have thought the market would have driven through that level, given what I call a tuning fork. What is it? A morning star? Is that what they call those things? On your right-hand side chart, whatever time frame that is, daily.
Yeah. I call
what's
that
that level?
Bouncing off a level of support. So,
Yeah,
Morningstar, bang, off it should go. And it's just
it should. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
she did take off there, but it had that massive bounce, and that was fine and good. And I picked up some of that. But yeah, look, basically that's from Thursday of last week. Waiting. So yes, I will be up at 4 o'clock this morning because there'll be a few of my commodity trades that I would really, really like to get a hold of. So
Lewis is of the opinion that the Fed has already been factored into the market.
Oh, who knows at the moment? Because sometimes they say things, and the other thing, like they said, they're talking about raising interest rates in 2023. Now, last time they spoke, they announced that it was like it took a full 24 hours before somebody actually picked up that they were raising interest rates in 2 years' time, not tomorrow.
Well, that was the first thing I said.
It was a delayed
the same day. I said, where did they say that? They didn't actually say that, and they still haven't said that. What they did say is, previously we've said we won't be raising interest rates before 2024. Now we're saying we won't be raising interest rates before 2023. They didn't at any stage say that they would be raising interest rates in 2023.
I'm wondering whether some of those algos that pick up just keywords from news reports, and they're programmed just to pick up the keywords, and it filters through and it's sparked something. Who knows? Because
Yes.
It was last time it was.
Yeah. What do they call those? Keyword or trigger word? Yeah.
Yeah, the keyword algo. So yeah, it's I think for a lot of my stuff, we're just in holding patterns. And I would be anything with the US dollar. I'm not going into anything before tomorrow morning. That's for sure.
Yeah, look, I said the same thing.
That's a brave move.
I agree. I would be prepared to trade euro dollar short, however, simply because it's coming off the top of the range. It's come back into a range.
Yeah.
That's about it.
So you're not looking for a trending move?
Not me. When would I be doing that?
Oh, you did it last time.
Did I?
You collared the euro with the Fed news, and you took a short, and you short triggered, and
that was that's a breakout. That's a breakout trade. Yeah, different thing entirely.
Yeah, but was that the Fed announcement that you were?
Yeah, look, that's one of my favorites because, as I've often said, when it ticks the box, it actually can either go further into trend or even set a new trend, and that's what you want to pick up, of course.
Right.
So that's why, look, it doesn't work every time, of course, nothing does, but when it does, it can kick some real good goals.
Yeah, your last one was a boomer.
Yeah, look, it's one of my favorite trades of every 6 weeks, but it's got to be in the right position to do so. And so far, I don't mind the look of euro dollar. It's only an 80 pip range. And if it can settle down just around about the weekly pivot as the announcement's made, I think we'll be in pretty good shape for that. We'll see.
I am kicking myself. I did see a really nice setup on the euro pound and its cousin trade, the pound Swiss. I went, oh, gee, that's a really nice spin bar on the weekly. And did you see that? Did you guys trade those?
Euro pound?
Yeah,
we're in a euro pound short. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that was nice, wasn't it? Look at that. I was kicking myself. I really was. I was thinking, okay, oh, that's nice. I should look at that. And I didn't. I was looking at gold going sideways. So I missed that one. Beautiful.
No, we didn't miss it. We got it.
Well done. And you got the cousin trade?
No, don't do cousins.
You do the pound Swissy. You're a Tasmania, right?
That's why I laughed.
GD. Sorry. PG timing. So yeah, that was also another good one. That was another good breakout one for you too.
So what was that? Pound Swissy.
Yeah, pound Swiss, euro pound, and the pound Swissy is cousin trade. I call it.
it's kind of not the same setup for me, and that's the problem. So I'll show you the setup that I had on Euro Pound, which is it's just, I think there's about 5 different layers on it. So we couldn't not trade it. As I said to the guys on Monday, so you've got to trade this. This is full risk trade for sure.
It was a good setup, I must say. I cried when I looked at it later yesterday. I went, gee, I should have taken that.
I'll show you on my chart.
Go. I've stopped sharing. All yours.
Okay, so as I said, this
Holy
multi-layer.
Moses, that's blue.
It is blue, isn't it?
Golly.
I don't mean it to be that blue. It's just defaulted to that. So you've got this going on, right? We've come off the top of this range, this blue range, and we're looking for lower highs. Got one there, and then still hasn't been down to the bottom. But in the meantime, it's created this channel.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Which is, of course, another range. I call that a range, because if you're going from the top to the bottom of something, it's a range as far as I'm concerned.
Neat. Oh, yes.
Extremely neat. And then you got this.
Yeah.
So that's a false break for me. And it's, as I said to the guys, if I had to write a book on false breaks, I'd take a picture of that.
Yeah.
Because that's exactly, because you've got the big break, you've got 2 candles of consolidation above the breakout, then you've got a re-entry, but look at what it re-entered. It re-entered there, it re-entered the rectangle, it came back below the monthly pivot, then it retested all of that to the pip almost.
God.
And then gave you that pin bar, as you said. I actually traded that bar.
Wow.
Not that bar.
Okay. So you got into it Monday.
We triggered with that bar.
Okay.
So the entry's trading that bar.
It was very neat. Yeah. You've ticked all the boxes, haven't you?
You'd like to see that every day of the week, I can assure you.
True. Lovely ring time, rejection. And if you went straight across, if you go, if you put a line at the top of that one, how does
where
your evening star? Down, top of that.
Top here.
Up. Next one. Up.
Oh, this one. Yeah.
Up.
Sorry.
Yeah. You can see that's also holding a really nice strong level of resistance as well. So you had that bouncing off there,
which has been support also. Yeah, it was just a beauty.
It was, what a boomer.
It's not all the time that the perfect setup will actually get your money, but if you don't trade it, you need a kick in the backside. You've just got to trade that.
Yep. I take it.
That was my setup, not yours, right?
Oh, look, I love ring highs and ring lows, bouncing off support and resistance. I really like them. And on the weekly, it was even cleaner. It was hideously clean. It was just saying, trade me. And I didn't. So
it's a hell of a bar, isn't it?
Yep. So here's the tip, peeps. When you see that kind of stuff, you just, it's free money, really, isn't it? It's a no-brainer.
Yeah, it's still got work to do, though.
To get through this. Work. I mean, seriously, you've still got to do your check the box and all the rest of it. But
no. Price has still got work to do before we actually get some real money out of it.
Oh, okay. But it's still, it's a nice, neat setup.
Absolutely. As I said, take a photo of that, because it's pretty much as good as you're going to get.
Yeah. You don't need a textbook. You have Jeff's screen.
Yeah, screenshot it. That's right. Exactly. As I said, I wish I could pack it up and take it with me.
Yeah.
It's a really nice one. Righto, what else is happening? You've been through your favourites. Actually, I want to ask you a question. You and I were very much of similar thought processes when talking about this. I don't even know what to call it anymore. I'll call it new paradigm, if you like, aka cryptocurrencies.
Oh yeah, I'm trying hard. I really am.
I mean, we can't not, can we? I mean, it's just not possible to ignore it. You have to.
Can't
You have
ignore
to at least do something with it.
I just really, I really have it's
Ethical
not really
problems.
investment. Yeah, I have a few issues with it.
So do I.
Left and right, not pyramid. It doesn't go left and right. It doesn't balance. You don't buy one and sell the other. You hope. There's a lot of hope, and hope is not a word that you should have in investment at all. From I've got a Scottish background, so there's that whole accounting, financial number side. Actually, it's really scary, the family history with numbers and stuff like that. But anyway, it goes. There's no left and right, and when somebody can actually tweet or infer or Musk coin or whatever, that's concerning. It takes off when Bitcoin took off because Elon Musk alluded to the fact that Tesla would take Bitcoin in payment. And then he corrected himself later on and said, oh, no, actually, it's not what I said. We'll consider taking Bitcoin as payment in the future. So when something can move as violently as that, I find that really, and I just have the whole China's going to start restricting anybody having it. It will look what it's doing to businesses. It did it to Didi. It's done it to an online education business. Its power to steer the market. I think you ignore it at your own peril, and think that Bitcoin's going to go on forever. I think digital currency is going to be the way. I think blockchain will be definitely.
Same. I've been saying that since the start. That I could see, but like you, Sweet, actually trying to work out the complexities of this is an absolute nightmare. And I think you're only 25 or something, Sweet. I'm 65 million. You can imagine what nightmares I have. And the only way that I can manage to get into this is to allow somebody else to do it for me. And that's exactly my attitude at the moment. I'm going to allow other people to get me into that space, because if I tried to understand that, I'd have to spend, seriously, it took me 6 hours. When was that? 2 weeks ago, just to stake a coin. Come on. That's ridiculous. I can't do that. I haven't got time to do that. So it makes sense to me to pay other people to do that. And if there is money to be made, then fine. I don't have to worry about it. They do it. So that's my attitude, and that's pretty much where I'm going with it. But I will, and mind you, I actually financed my Binance account today.
Oh, did you?
After 2 days of waiting. Yeah. So now I'm in a position to, well, I'm not there yet. I think I'm, again, Swee, back to your point. I think I'm about 1/5 of the way to being able to purchase or participate in, what's it called? The charity coin.
Yeah. But did you notice that the method, even the methodology that Mikey stepped us through on Sunday, even that had changed in the 12 hours.
Oh, is that why I couldn't do it? Oh, that's right, indeed. In that time.
It's just like, hang on, you meant to click on here. Oh, they've taken that away because there was an issue with Binance as a company. Wasn't allowed to do this. And then Binance isn't allowed to operate in the UK, and you've got to go through Kraken. And it's just, I know they've still got a lot of regulations, and there needs to be a centralized body governing it, but there's too many.
I think that's only a matter of time, frankly.
It's only going to be a matter of time. And I think where it's going to lose its shine and appeal might be when people who originally used crypto for all the purposes of using crypto, i.e. anonymity, no tracing, no government noses, could do what they like. All those reasons for all the people that used it in the first place, because it was commensurate with their lifestyle and modus operandi of transactions, it's not going to be quite so appealing to them anymore.
No, and if they really thought that they were going to get away for that long, or with that long term, they really do have tickets on themselves, because that was always my argument. I mean, there's no way on the planet that people who control money exchange, if you like, were ever going to let a breakout group control money or riches or whatever. And that was the ideal, of course. Now, the ideal is great. To decentralize, I think it was a fantastic idea, but reality says to me, it ain't going to work, buddy.
No, yeah, like, and you're absolutely right. I completely agree that if anybody thinks that the government is not going to be controlling a form of currency, if I hear one more of these little cowboys that get up and says, you know, digital coin is for, it's the people's coin, and just like, oh, get real. You know, there is no way a government of any country is just going to, and why they haven't done anything for the time being is, I think you might have noticed the world sort of like dealing with other problems and other issues, like, oh, a pandemic. They will get to it. They will get to it. They will address it. I think it will exist in one form or another, but how it's going to exist compatibly with government regulations will be interesting.
Well, I'm still of the opinion that swapping bamboo shoots for potatoes and onions and carrots and tomatoes is a really good idea. That's how you that's how you beat the system. Well,
And
yeah,
wine.
kind of haven't got there yet, but
Yeah.
oh, there's plenty. Oh, whiskey or gin or anything. They make lots of that good stuff down here, that's for sure.
What,
And
bamboo gin?
that's coming. That's on the way. Don't worry.
Okay.
It's all happening.
I'll have to
And
try some of that.
we create pretty decent swimmers down here too. Wow, she's going well, isn't she?
Oh, Ariane, yes.
Mm.
Yes. We were laughing in our house because my youngest is Ariana, and her father was being interviewed, and he said, oh yeah, you know, Arnie's doing really well. And it's really funny because that's our nickname for our youngest one, who was like, oh, another Arnie. So
this sounds familiar.
Yeah, and two rowing.
Yeah,
gold
2 rowing
today
goals today
as well. Yep. And yeah, Miss Titmus has got a second goal today as well. So you were not doing too badly. Not such a shabby performance.
All going well, yes. What a shame they haven't got any people there. Although I noticed the crowds at the pool seem to be getting bigger and bigger all the time. I don't know how that works.
No.
Seems to be happening. I'm going to quickly whiz through. Sorry?
Completely with a breakout out there.
Oh, God. Yeah.
So Tokyo's had a big breakout as well. Anyway.
I'm going to quickly whiz through the charts and let you guys know if I need to do anything or otherwise. I'm still going to wait on this to give us a false break. This is Euro Aussie, right? I'm still going to wait to give us a false break and come back under here, hopefully back under the pivots, then retest them, then we can go short. Otherwise, nothing. Euro pound, we're okay. We're free trading. That's all good. Pound US dollar. I've moved my stops to entry on trade number 1. As I said, trade number 2 is still at risk. The exit point for trade number 1, I don't know that we'll get there unless the Fed talk the dollar down somehow, because I can't see us getting there before the Fed. So what might be a good idea, what might be a real good idea, if nothing has happened, if we haven't gone to the monthly pivot or just underneath it before the Fed announcement, move the stops on the second entry to entry. or the second order to entry, which is just underneath the daily pivot, because I don't really want to lose on that based on what the Fed spike may give us. So I'm happy just to be out of it. Can't lose on the first one, and we need for that to happen on the second one as well, if we haven't hit profit before the Fed. So get out of position one there. I think I gave you the level. 139.50. Get out at 139.50 of that first position. Move your stop loss to entry on the second if you hit that level, and see how you go with the Fed. Euro pound we know about. I had an order again, did not. Is Aussie CAD. Okay, so we need to cancel that order now, right? We've gone way beyond where the stop loss is, so let's get out of there. Why hasn't that? Oh, that's interesting. I mustn't have it on the EA. All right, let's kill it here. I'll kill it later, eh? So what I'll still be looking for this, right? If we get a higher low based on this low and a rejection, but so that same bar, if we've got that exact bar sitting here, then I would put an entry above it and stop loss below this low. Other than that, no trade. False break would be the only thing, but you're talking about tomorrow. You're well into tomorrow at that point. So you'd have to see a false break of this, back above it, retest it, and then go. You're talking tomorrow, so don't worry about that one too much. But cancel the current order that's in the market, definitely. EuroCAD, that's on the monthly chart. No need to worry about that. Taking profit on pound Kiwi. Somebody asked me about that. Look, this is on a monthly chart, right? You need to consider that. And our risk is, I don't know, hundreds of pips. So you don't want to be taking profit too early. 650 pips is our risk, right? So that's the level there where you want to be considering your first profit. So 20180, which is half of your risk. And I think that's probably the best way to go with pound Kiwi. I'm super keen and have been for months on this, you know that. And I think we've got a real strong chance of getting to that level, which is way above the $2 mark. We missed it by time, that's for sure. But I'm still got it in my sights, 21.59 or something like that. So another, 2,000 pips from where we are. So yeah, don't take profit too early on that. I think that would be unwise. Euro Swissy. Now look, this just keeps on giving Euro Swissy, and I think it's got more to give as well, because we are well below that breakout level here. Next take profit level, I think, is probably there, 107.40. So we're 100 pips away from that. There's no need to do anything here until probably the end of the week, maybe next Monday, if the weekly pivot steps down, which maybe it will at this point, we might be able to move our stop loss. But at the moment, stop loss is in a perfect position. And that's it, guys. I think that's it as far as the trades that we've got in the market are concerned. And you should be okay. We can't lose on any trade that we're in at the moment, to the best of my knowledge. So everything is looking fine. We'll call it quits there.
Okay,
I think on this Wednesday hump day. Thanks, for coming in.
No problemo. Happy
we'll
lockdown.
Yeah, we'll catch up with you on Sunday. Have you got anything else in between?
Have I? No, just the front door, the laundry, the kitchen. No, I am doing a preview tomorrow night.
Ah, there you go. What time?
8:30.
How can we catch you?
Oh, I think it's already up. It's out in the. I don't know.
In cyberspace there somewhere.
Yes.
It's on the socials.
Yeah, I was just asked to do it, so I'll just do it. So
What are you previewing?
I'm about to find out. Alexa sent me through some stuff. Nothing.
That was a loaded question.
Yeah, it was. It would be interesting. I think it's for courses that Gordon has got coming up and Shukri.
Ah, cool. Okay, that sounds good.
So
All right, mate.
that's one thing. But
They're on the socials, guys. If you want to catch up with Ainsley tomorrow, then please do so. And she'll be tired by then. No, I'm sure she'll get a nap during the middle of the day, depending on what the Fed say.
Are you kidding? A nap, a nana nap? Hardly. Might be your call, Jeffrey.
Now, there's an idea. All right. We're going to get out of here.
Yeah,
I think
time to go.
I think Lloyd's gone, so I can't say goodbye to him, but I can say goodbye to you guys. Thank you so much for being in our show. Thanks for being our trading buddies, and we look forward to catching up with you at the very same time tomorrow when Ash will be back, and hopefully he'll put us into a nice little footsie trade, long or short, doesn't really matter. He'll get some money, I hope. Have a good one, guys.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
everyone.